Amanda came home from work unusually early that day. As she opened the door, she was greeted by an unsettling silence. Concerned, she called for her children, Robert and Brittany, but received no reply. Her worry grew as she climbed the stairs to the second floor, heading towards the room of her 10-year-old daughter, Brittany. Just as Amanda was about to open the door, Brittany burst out of the room abruptly. Amanda immediately noticed her daughter's nervousness, her disheveled hair, and her shaky voice. "Mom, what are you doing here so early?" Brittany asked, trying to mask her unease. "I wasn't feeling well, so I came home early," Amanda replied, then leaned in to give her daughter a kiss on the forehead. At that moment, something caught her eye, a red stain on Brittany's white pants. With her heart racing, Amanda crouched down to take a closer look. A mix of shock and joy overcame her. "Oh, sweetie, you've got your first period. What a joy. You're becoming a young woman. Let's celebrate." However, Brittany's reaction was not as expected. Although she tried to play along with her mother, her eyes reflected a mix of deep sadness and fear. "What's wrong, dear? Don't be sad. This is a normal thing to celebrate. Your step from a little girl to a woman," Amanda said, trying to comfort her. But Brittany looked away, avoiding eye contact with her mother. Determined to lift her daughter's spirits, Amanda picked her up and began to descend the stairs. "Let's go. I'll make your favorite meal and we'll do something special today." As they went downstairs, Amanda couldn't help but think about Brittany's demeanor. Something was not right, and her maternal instincts told her there was more behind that red stain. When they reached the first floor, Amanda set Brittany on the sofa and went to the kitchen to prepare a special snack. But just then, she glanced up and caught sight of someone sneaking out of her daughter's room on the second floor. She barely noticed it was her 12-year-old son, Robert. "Brittany, what was your brother doing in your room?" Amanda asked, trying to stay calm. "I don't know, Mom. Maybe he went in to look for a toy he left there the other day," Brittany replied nervously. Amanda remained thoughtful, a nagging discomfort settling in her heart. Something about that scene didn't sit right with her. She decided not to ask more questions at that moment. But the unease stayed with her as the days slowly passed. And Amanda couldn't stop worrying about her children's behavior. One afternoon, leaving work early, she arrived home unannounced. As she silently ascended the stairs, her heart thumping loudly, she headed to her daughter's room. To her surprise, the room was empty, sending an inexplicable chill down her spine. Suddenly, noises from the adjacent room, her son's room, caught her attention. With her heart in her throat, Amanda slowly opened the door, and what she saw took her breath away. Her two children were lying in bed, tightly embracing each other. Though the scene seemed innocent, it filled her with a sensation of panic and confusion. "What are you doing?" Amanda shouted, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and fury. The children were startled and immediately let go of each other. But they said nothing. Amanda, still shaken, could not determine if their behavior was inappropriate. Overwhelmed by the situation, she decided to call her husband. But he didn't answer. Frustration and stress overtook her. So she decided to go to his office to discuss the matter in person. Upon arriving at the office, she found it closed. After a few seconds of hesitation, she opened the door and encountered Tatiana, her husband's boss, who was conversing with him. They greeted each other cordially, although Amanda couldn't help feeling an increasing unease. "Hello, Tatiana," said Amanda, trying to sound casual. "Hello, Amanda. I was just discussing some work matters with your husband," replied Tatiana, with a smile that Amanda perceived as overly friendly. Once alone, Amanda took the opportunity to tell her husband about what had happened with the kids. "I decided to come find you to tell you in person what happened with our children," said Amanda, with a lump in her throat. She recounted everything. And upon finishing, her husband became furious. "This cannot be, Amanda. We cannot allow this type of behavior," he said, clenching his fists, his face red with anger. That same night, when they arrived home, he called the children and scolded them harshly, regardless of whether they were just playing or not. "It's not right for you to be in bed together like that," he said with a voice full of authority and tension. Robert tried to object, raising his hand and opening his mouth to speak. "But Dad," he began. But his father's shout cut him off, leaving no room for explanations. "I don't want to hear excuses." The children, heads bowed and tears in their eyes, accepted the scolding and retreated to their rooms, clearly frightened and confused. The air felt heavy, laden with unspoken tensions. Amanda remained thoughtful, trying to decipher what Robert had tried to say before being silenced. What truth was he trying to reveal? The uncertainty gnawed at her. In the days that followed, Amanda noticed some strange things about her daughter. She observed scratches on her neck and an unusual discoloration on one of her cheeks, as if she had received a slap. Amanda was deeply worried and asked her daughter how she had gotten those marks. But her little girl only offered vague excuses. Later, when alone with her son Robert, Amanda inquired if he knew how his sister had gotten the marks. However, Robert also failed to provide any clear answers. When Amanda shared with her husband what she had seen, he downplayed the concerns, suggesting that perhaps their daughter had gotten into a fight with a classmate or had an accident. However, these explanations did nothing to ease Amanda's growing anxiety. Over the weekend, while her children were playing in the garden, Amanda decided to check their rooms for any clues that might help her understand the situation. In Robert's room, she found an adult magazine hidden under the mattress. She showed it to her husband, but he once again minimized the issue, saying that Robert probably bought it secretly and that, though it wasn't right, boys of his age often do such things. Yet again, Amanda was not satisfied with the explanation. When she questioned her son about the magazine, he confessed to taking it from his father's secret stash and apologized, despite Amanda's insistence that he reveal where this secret place was. Robert refused to answer. Amanda's worry and uncertainty grew each day as the vague responses and evasions from her family did not alleviate her fears. She knew she needed to get to the bottom of what was happening to protect her children. Months passed, and Amanda grew concerned that her daughter hadn't menstruated again. She tried to talk to her about it, But the young girl didn't respond. Her gaze fixed on the ground. Amanda felt something was not right. She periodically checked her children's rooms. And on one occasion while cleaning, she found an unused condom in her son's room. Although it wasn't used, this was too much for her. She decided to find out once and for all what was going on between her son and daughter. Or if it was all part of her imagination. To catch them in the act. She pretended to go to work but stayed hidden in the closet of her daughter's room. The children were on holiday and spent all day at home. Her husband had already gone to work. With the closet door slightly ajar, Amanda watched what her son was doing. As the hours passed and the day progressed normally, Amanda's body ached from staying in that position for so long. And she began to question what she was doing. Amanda was becoming paranoid by 5 in the afternoon. Already feeling guilty because she had seen her son entering his sister's room just to play, read, and talk about innocent things. Nothing wrong. Nothing inappropriate. What am I doing? Amanda thought. Feeling the weight of guilt, she decided to step out of the closet. Feeling silly for having doubted her children. However, just as she was about to open the door, she witnessed something that took her breath away. In a moment, Robert stopped playing with his sister and pounced on her, pinning her on the bed in an inappropriate position. He then began to touch her. Brittany told him they should never do that again because Mom wouldn't like it. But her brother insisted it was okay, because both knew their dad did the same with his sister. So, there was nothing wrong with them doing it too. Don't worry, Brittany. Dad does it too. There's nothing wrong with us doing it as well, he said. Amanda felt a chill run through her. Her heart racing with the revelation that her husband was also involved in something inappropriate. She was paralyzed, not knowing what to do. Petrified as a storm of emotions and thoughts assaulted her. After a few moments, Amanda decided to confront the situation and came out of her hiding in the closet. The 2 kids were shocked to see her. What are you doing? Amanda shouted with a trembling voice. She told them that what they were doing was not right. The frightened kids didn't know how to react. Mom, they both said almost in unison, falling over themselves with excuses and apologies. Still filled with doubts and concerns, Amanda decided to question Robert about something he had mentioned earlier. Robert, why did you say that Dad does it too? She asked. Trying to understand. The little boy remained silent, looking down, not knowing what to answer. Tell me, where is that secret hideout you were talking about? Amanda insisted, her tone softer but firm. After a moment of hesitation, Robert replied that it was behind the wardrobe in Dad's storage room. Amanda felt a knot in her stomach but decided to move forward. She went out and headed to the storage room, moved the wardrobe, and indeed found a secret compartment. Inside, she found several condoms identical to the one she had found in her son's room, adult magazines, and an unfamiliar cell phone. Upon turning on the phone, her surprise was immense. She found conversations between her husband and another woman filled with messages and images of them being intimate. The woman turned out to be Tatiana, her husband's boss. All this time they had been having an affair. Still holding the cell phone in her hands, Amanda ran back to the kids' room and continued to interrogate Robert about what he had said. The little one was holding on to a desperate silence. Amanda grabbed him by the shoulders and shook him just as the cell phone with Tatiana's image fell to the floor. Brittany saw it and exclaimed, "That's our aunt." Surprised, Amanda stopped abruptly, turned around, took her daughter's hands, and asked, "What do you mean? Aunt? What are you talking about?" Brittany pointed to the image on the cell phone. "That's our aunt. Dad's sister," she said, confused and worried. Amanda looked at her children. "Why do you say that this woman is your aunt?" Brittany took a deep breath and explained. "One day, while Robert and I were playing in the living room and Dad was home on vacation, a woman knocked on the door. It was the lady from the cell phone. Dad, looking nervous, told us she was his sister. But we shouldn't tell you anything because you two didn't get along." Amanda felt a knot in her stomach and looked at Robert, expecting him to continue the story. In a low voice, the little boy added, "One day I saw Dad go into the storage room and take out a cell phone from behind the cupboard. He was talking about love with that woman. And I also saw a video where they were doing adult things. Then he would put the cell phone back and leave." Feeling a knot in his stomach. At that moment, Amanda finally understood everything. The children had seen their dad with Tatiana, his boss, and thought she was his sister because that's what he had told them the day she came to the house while Amanda was at work. Her husband had invented that lie and also told the kids not to tell their mom anything. When Robert found the cell phone and saw everything, he wanted to imitate what his father was doing, which led both siblings to start having physical closeness as seen in the videos. In the videos, their dad was violent with Tatiana. He scratched and mistreated her. That's why Brittany had those marks. Because Robert had done the same to her, imitating what he saw his father doing with that woman. He had also taken a condom from Dad's hiding spot, although he didn't know how to use it. Brittany had not actually had her menstruation. Rather, it was due to inappropriate touching from her brother that she had a tear. Fortunately, her innocence and integrity were intact. Amanda hugged her children tightly, feeling the weight of the situation, determined to face the truth. She took the cell phone and the evidence in hand and waited for her husband to come home that same night to confront him. He had no choice but to admit his affair with his boss, although he tried to justify his actions by saying he never wanted his children to imitate him. The truth was out in the open. The damage was already done. With a broken heart, Amanda took the difficult decision to divorce, knowing she needed to protect her children and help them heal. She took her kids to psychological therapy seeking support to overcome the trauma and confusion. The first few months were tough, filled with tears and tough questions. But gradually, with love and support, the children began to heal. Therapy helped them understand that none of what happened was their fault and that they could get through this difficult chapter. Amanda also found strength in therapy and in the support of her family and friends. Although the image of betrayal was still present, she decided to focus on building a better future for herself and her children. Over time, the family began to regain their happiness. The kids started smiling again and enjoying their childhood. Amanda felt that, although the journey had been hard, they were now in a better and safer place. Eventually, Amanda and her children managed to create a new home filled with love and understanding. They had gone through immense trauma, but together, they found a way to move forward and become a happy and united family again. After listening to this tale, what are your impressions? We'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. Your insights are valuable to us. Now, we have another engaging story. Let's proceed to the next one.
Mike's sudden and intense desire to spend private time with Ally's young daughter, Kaylee, began to unsettle Ally as his interest seemed to grow more fervent. Concerned by this change, Ally took decisive action by discreetly installing a hidden camera in the living room, keeping this measure a secret from everyone, although she had initially hoped that her new husband would form a close bond with her daughter following their marriage. She now found herself grappling with how to handle these unforeseen and disturbing developments. Mike, who had no children of his own, had always demonstrated a profound love for kids, lavishing attention and affection on his 5 nieces and nephews as their doting uncle. Initially, Ally had been concerned about Mike's eagerness to spend more time with her daughter, unsure if her apprehensions were justified or merely instinctual. While it is not uncommon for stepfathers to develop strong relationships with their stepchildren, warning signals began to sound for Ally when Mike specifically asked to spend time alone with Kaylee. Before Mike came into her life, Ally had been a single mother. Her previous husband had abandoned her and their baby, leaving them with nothing. Mike appeared as a beacon of kindness in comparison, the most compassionate man she had ever met, in stark contrast to her ex. She met Mike at a work-related event, and his charm quickly won her over. Their connection was instant, and they soon became engaged. However, Ally was apprehensive about revealing to Mike that she had a child. She feared his reaction, worried that many men might not welcome the baggage of a partner with a child. Desperate to keep him in her life, she didn't want their relationship marred by secrets. When she finally disclosed Kaylee's existence, Mike's reaction was nothing but warm and welcoming. A calm smile graced his face as he expressed his eagerness to meet her, clearly demonstrating his affection for children. Ally was immensely relieved and reassured that he still wanted to be with her despite knowing about Kaylee. In her eyes, Mike was truly one in a million, a man who transcended the typical concerns that might trouble others. 6 months after their engagement, Ally and Mike got married in a whirlwind of joy. Ally had never been happier. They moved from Ally and Kaylee's small apartment into Mike's more spacious house, where Kaylee was thrilled to have her own room in their new 3-bedroom home. The transition seemed like the beginning of a blissful new chapter, but as Mike's behavior began to shift, Ally found herself in a state of worry, questioning the true nature of the evolving dynamics within her newly formed family. Everything had been progressing smoothly until Mike brought up a topic to Ally. He shared his desire to spend more quality time with Kaylee, emphasizing that despite living together, he and his stepdaughter had not yet developed a close bond. Initially, Ally thought Mike's suggestion was reasonable. However, despite their family connection, Kaylee seemed unenthusiastic about spending time with Mike. This puzzled Ally, considering that Kaylee was generally a cheerful child who relished interactions, especially playing games with her doting aunts and uncles, yet she showed a noticeable hesitation around Mike. Mike shared his feelings openly. "All I want is for her to like me. We still haven't bonded after all these months, and it's starting to worry me more than I expected. My goal is to build a strong father-daughter relationship with her, understanding the importance of nurturing a strong bond between them." Ally saw the need for Mike to step into the role of a father figure more assertively. She was touched by his eagerness to connect with Kaylee yet couldn't shake off a nagging sense of unease. Reluctantly, she agreed to let them spend some time alone, hoping they would engage in the fun activities Mike had planned while she met up with friends for lunch. Confident that a few hours together would be beneficial, Ally was not prepared for the chaos she returned to. The house looked like a scene of turmoil, with toys scattered everywhere, and Kaylee was in tears, visibly distraught. Mike, looking just as confused and overwhelmed, was hastily picking up the toys, his demeanor reflecting the distress of the situation. "What's going on here? What happened?" Ally exclaimed as she rushed to comfort her daughter, amid the mess that looked as though a storm had passed through their living room. All Mike could muster was that Kaylee had suddenly started crying and he was clueless about how to comfort her. Ally's skepticism grew as she gently probed Kaylee about what had upset her so deeply. The words that Kaylee sobbed out sent a chill through Ally. "Our secret." Those words hung in the air, heavy with implications. Ally turned to Mike, who looked as startled as a deer caught in headlights, wondering what she had missed. Was there something Mike was hiding? The situation felt alarmingly off, and Kaylee's vague yet ominous words left Ally wrestling with unsettling thoughts she'd rather not entertain. The atmosphere was thick with tension as Ally contemplated their next steps, her mind racing with possibilities of what our secret could mean. Kaylee, dancing energetically to the loud music. Kaylee's face was lit up with joy, and Mike, with a big smile, was twirling her around in a makeshift dance floor they had created. Ally's initial fears melted away as she watched them, realizing the changes in Kaylee might have been due to normal developmental phases or perhaps just her adapting to spending more time with her father. Feeling a mix of relief and foolishness for her earlier suspicions, Ally quietly made her way inside. She decided to confront the situation head-on and talk to both Mike and Kaylee about her concerns. Once the music died down, she joined them in the living room. Her approach gentle but direct, she expressed her worries about Kaylee's recent behavior changes and asked them both if there was anything they wished to discuss or if something was bothering them. Mike looked surprised but was understanding. He explained that he had noticed Kaylee seemed a bit more reserved too and thought it was perhaps because they were still finding their rhythm in their father-daughter relationship. He reassured Ally that he was committed to making their family work and that he cherished the time he spent with Kaylee. Kaylee, still catching her breath from the dancing, nodded in agreement and mentioned she had been feeling a bit overwhelmed with school and the new changes at home but loved the time she spent with her dad. Ally felt a profound sense of relief and realized that communication had been lacking. They all agreed to be more open with each other about their feelings and to work together as a family to support each other. This moment of understanding deepened their bond, and they spent the rest of the day enjoying each other's company and planning more fun activities to do together. The installation of the home security system, initially done out of concern, now seemed unnecessary. However, Ally decided to keep it as a safety measure, promising herself to trust more in her family's love and to always communicate openly about any concerns. This experience taught Ally the importance of balancing protective instincts with trust and the value of open family communication. Kaylee and her new stepfather Mike were dressed in elaborate princess costumes, gleefully acting out scenes from Kaylee's favorite Disney films. As Ally peeked into the room, her eyes filled with tears that streamed down her cheeks, struck by the heartwarming tableau before her. The sheer joy radiating from Kaylee's face was something Ally had never witnessed to such an extent. From the sidelines, Ally observed the unfolding scene with a mix of tears and smiles. Realizing that Mike had masterfully arranged a surprise princess tea party for Kaylee, the setting was magical, complete with princess costumes and an array of Disney character dolls that Kaylee adored. The earlier noises that Ally had heard were just the sounds of their jubilant dance party, which now made perfect sense. A wave of relief and gratitude washed over Ally for the man who had not only embraced her daughter with open arms but had also gone to great lengths to create such a spellbinding moment. Despite her relief, Ally felt a pang of guilt for ever doubting Mike's intentions. Amidst these mixed emotions, Ally decided it was time to join the enchanting princess tea party herself. Upon entering, Ally caught Mike's eye and noticed his expression of relief and happiness at seeing her join them. Kaylee's face lit up with delight upon seeing her mother, adding to the festive atmosphere. Mike then confessed that his aim was to surprise both Ally and Kaylee, hoping to forge an unforgettable memory that would strengthen their bond. He shared his feelings of initial detachment from Kaylee and his desire to bridge that gap, moved by the sincerity in Mike's eyes. Ally's heart swelled with love for the man who consistently demonstrated his affection for her and her daughter. She apologized for her earlier doubts and confessed to installing a hidden camera, explaining her protective fears, which Mike forgave with understanding. Acknowledging her parental instincts, he reassured her that his intentions were always pure and that he deeply cherished both her and Kaylee. The rest of the day was filled with laughter and joy as they continued to create cherished memories, solidifying the bonds of their newly formed family. This incident was a poignant reminder for Ally to trust in the love she shared with Mike and to communicate openly about her concerns. The hidden camera, initially set up out of concern, ultimately served as a tool that brought clarity and strengthened the trust between Ally and Mike. The family learned the crucial importance of open communication and understanding. setting a strong foundation for a future filled with love and shared experiences. As the days passed, the bonds between Ally, Mike, and Kaylee only grew stronger. Mike's efforts to connect with Kaylee became more genuine and frequent, ensuring that the Princess Tea Party would remain a treasured memory in their hearts. Ally often revisited cherished family memories through photos and the stories they shared. She had come to realize that sometimes the most delightful surprises in life are those that come from the heart. By trusting Mike and giving him the space to bond with her daughter Kaylee, she unknowingly laid the foundation for beautiful moments that would come to define their family dynamics. Together, Ally and Mike built a strong partnership in their parenting journey, embracing both the challenges and victories of raising Kaylee. Initially, Ally faced doubts and insecurities, but these feelings were soon replaced by a deep appreciation for Mike, who not only accepted her as she was but also eagerly embraced the role of a father figure to her daughter. Under the nurturing care of her mother and stepfather, Kaylee thrived, transforming from a once shy and hesitant child into a vibrant and confident young girl. The Princess Tea Party they had was a turning point in their relationship, marking the beginning of a deep and lasting bond between them. As time passed, the family continued to weave a tapestry of memories, encompassing significant celebrations, holidays, and the simple joys of everyday life. Ally often revisited the footage captured by the hidden camera, not as a reminder of her past doubts but as a tribute to the strength of their love and the lengths they were willing to go to create a joyful family life. Ally, Mike, and Kaylee were living out their own fairy tale, complete with challenges, surprises, and most importantly, a happily ever after that they crafted together. Do you have any thoughts after hearing the above two stories? We'd like to hear your thoughts. Tell us in the comments section. That's all for today's story. Please subscribe and give a thumbs up. See you next time.